All right, y'all. So we got a beef to get into. Let's talk about Charlie XCX versus John Summit. So Charlie XCX the other day, we discussed it, and this was all time. Funny enough, it felt a little ill time because of the whole Madonna situation that came out with Madonna dropping the Confessions 2 track off of her album. I Feel So Free. And Charlie made a comment that I'm working on a rock album. I guess now that she squeezed all the juice out of the lemon of dance music, now she wants to pivot to a different genre of music and basically said the dance floor is dead, which of course had John Summit, who is a well-known DJ, because it was pissing me off in the comments of, whenever you hear somebody going after your favorite artist, all of a sudden everybody turns into a fucking owl. Who? You know Google is free. You don't have to pay a dime for Google. Look it up. John Summit is a well-known international DJ. Of course I know who he is. I'm a house head. And on top of that, I worked his show. He performed, I'm trying to remember, I think he might have did 2 nights at the Garden, full DJ set. And very good looking in person. So he performed there. So that's how I knew of John Summit. And I've listened to his mix. I think he dropped a new album not too long ago. I don't know if it's an album compilation because sometimes the DJs they come out with an album like very David Guetta-esque where they get a lot of guest vocalists and they do the beats and things, or they do a DJ set and release something similar to Honey Dijon. Honey Dijon just dropped a new album, but she also does a lot of DJ mixes. And a lot of time when they drop on Apple Music, I'll be working out to them at the gym. But anyway, so he came out and said basically, when after she said the dance floor is dead, he said maybe your pop music dance floor is dead, but ours isn't, babe. And that's what she is. She's a pop music dance floor artist. So of course, with him saying all of that, gay Twitter got they nuts in a damn twist and decided to go in and let have on him. So shout out to Queer Team for putting this story together. But also it got a little weird because then they started PrEP shaming. I'll explain what all that is as we go through the story. So you already know when it comes to the gays, the homosexuals, body image is a serious thing. And when a lot of times when you make a little comment about you know, somebody's body type or whatever the case is, and you thinking it's harmless, it could basically turn into a distressing sign of the times. So, as I was stated before, last week, John Summit, known for his pride parties and very queer themed nights and cute little body of his, got into hot water after calling out Charlie XCX for saying the dance floor is dead. Now, a controversial statement to be sure, but who would know better than Charlie XCX, whose iconic album Brat scored a blissful. Wait, hold on a second. I'm a pause on that. First of all, kiss my ass, Square G, because you can't say and say a controversial statement, but sure. But who would know better than Charlie X? First of all, she don't know fucking better. Because one thing, yeah, you were great with Brat and everything, and you was over here reheating Sky Ferreira's nachos, demo nachos, by allegedly using them for the Wuthering Heights soundtrack, which it was just announced that she's doing that Wuthering Heights is coming, I think, to HBO Max. I didn't look at the date because I didn't give a damn, but I know it's coming soon. Y'all can look it up. But the dance floor isn't dead, and she's not the queen of the dance floor. Yeah, she's done like she's kind of mainstream hyper pop in a lot of ways, and she's definitely incorporated a lot of electronic elements into her pop music. But she is not the queen of the dance floor. She is not the litmus test of whether or not the dance floor is alive or dead, especially from someone as myself, who is a board certified house head who literally listens to dance music all day, every day. That is like I listen to all genres of music, but house music is literally my go-to, is my forte. It is what I listen to from sun up to sundown. When I'm in the gym, when I'm at other places, that is the foundation of the sound that I'm incorporating. So for her to say that, and for Queer T's lame asses to co-sign on that shit, y'all done lost the plot. Because the dance floor is not dead. And she doesn't know better. Um, so I take issue with that. But anyway, we can move on because I don't want to harp on that a little too much. So, as I stated before, he went on under the comment, I think it was on Pop Crave, where I don't know if it was her where they said he apparently took XCX's comments to heart and responded in kind and said basically, as I said before, maybe your pop music dance floor is dead, but ours isn't, babe. But since Charli, then they said, but since Charli XCX's mother, yeah, okay, the gays were not about to put up somebody, Gen Z must have wrote this damn article, about to put up with this shade in an instant iconic tweet. One iconic. Y'all write one thing and it's iconic. I cannot. This article is going to irritate me more than what John Summit said and what Charli X. But let's go through it. In an instantly iconic tweet, one poster hit back calling Summit tank top gay face. Y'all really thought you ate with that line? Tank top gay face, which is stupid because, first of all, we got a picture here of him on the right without a shirt on. So John Summit takes the shirt off. I've seen him shirtless, so I don't know what you're talking about. But that wasn't the end of it. Now, Summit doubled down on his comments by posting an IG video of himself topless, bumping that. I mean, bumping that during the set. Why? Because she says that in 360. Now they said that, well, look, so he's not, maybe he does have gay face. I know he identifies as straight, so there's that. But no, he takes his shirt off. He likes to show off his body and he baits the gays, if that's what you want to call it. But that's not where the icky part came. The icky part came when someone named CA Dreamboy posted that now they're calling him Prep Belly because Just Jim, who goes by at Jim's tweets on Twitter, said he went shirtless so people can't call him tank top gay face. And the person I told y'all responded by saying they're calling him Prep Belly. First of all, where the hell have I been? Because I've never heard of the term Prep Belly. And what the fuck is Prep Belly? So apparently, Prep Belly is when, wait, hold on. I think it's like when you take the pills, when you take Prep, and apparently you bloat, and that's a side effect. But I'd rather have Prep Belly than HIV. So that's literally what I would be hoping on is that if I'm HIV, like if I want to prevent myself from getting HIV, I would be taking Prep. And if it bloats me, oh well, so be it. It's water bloat. What you mad for? So then they also went on to say not to be the friend that's, oh god, why do y'all keep using this word? But they said now not to be the friend that's too woke, but the whole Prep Belly thing just sounds like another way to deter gays from taking Prep, which there's already a weird stigma attached to it. It is. And then another person said a Prep Belly implying the existence of Discovery thighs. And then another person basically came out, oh, that was when this kid came out, Griffin Maxwell Brooks asked, what is Prep Belly? He also did a video. And they said, but here's where we need to be clear. Prep Belly comment was meant to be a silly, fun dunk on him. There is a darker side to the discourse. I don't think that it's cute or whatever to be making fun of somebody who's taking Prep or whatever the case is, especially if Prep can be used to prevent you from getting HIV and you getting sick. So I do have the clip of Griffin Maxwell Brooks talking about this whole situation when he asked about it. So we're going to play that clip. And Cleveland, I did get your message because this whole time I was hoping and praying it wasn't frozen. Nobody told me that I'm having freezing situations with the video, but it is what it is. We're gonna watch this video and we are going to come back and talk. Please hold on.
The video of John Summit saying that he looks like he has Prep Belly. And I did what I do best, which is turn nothing into discourse. Also, sorry, Johnny. This has basically nothing to do with you. Sorry that you're caught in the crossfires of more of my nonsensical discourse. I thought it was funny. You know, I guess I get like a little bit of like a thing going on when I take my Prep sometimes. I do think that like we need to be really careful creating stigma around medication as important as Prep, specifically in this current age of like anti-intellectualism as it regards to medicine. Like, I think that if the Republican Party was able to convince half of the country that vaccines cause autism when they don't, it feels like a distinct possibility that something as simple as like PrEP makes you a little bit bloated and therefore like kind of chopped, or I think it's embarrassing that you're doing Mr. ads, on your account, could end up dissuading some insecure or uninformed little gay boy in a red state where, sex ed is basically non-existent, from taking PrEP, from taking HIV prevention medication. And like, again, am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Potentially. Do I think that in this period in which several red states are trying to get rid of state subsidization for PrEP and like that sort of HIV preventative medication under the justification that it like promotes unethical behavior, because apparently being gay and having sex is unethical, like that is actively happening, which I guess is why I'm being super cautious, and like at the same time, like people are refusing to wear masks and they won't get vaccinated and like basically have these crazy misconceptions about modern medicine. And I just think like we could very easily go down a very scary wormhole in which people are totally misinformed about PrEP and the medication that, put a halt or like at least slowed down what I think is like the second most deadly epidemic of all time, behind like the bubonic plague, the AIDS crisis, which famously still going on. Like I think that we need to be very conscious of the repercussions that could have. And I think we're very privileged. I know I'm very privileged as like a Gen Z queer person that I don't have to worry about dying of HIV, but like I'm also privileged that I live in New York and I have relationships with a lot of like queer elders. And one thing about like older gay guys, there aren't that many of them because a lot of them died. And like maybe I'm dramatic, maybe I'm a victim of exposure in that way, but like I think about that quite frequently. And like when I see sort of just any kind of discourse that, makes me think that we're going down this path in which people are going to not take PrEP for whatever reason, whether it's the way that it could affect them or not thinking it's important or thinking that it's like a sign of like promiscuity that makes you like less valuable as a gay person. Like, I think we need to squash all of those. And I think that like sometimes maybe I'm the woker, but even joking about it just feels like unnecessary, potentially worrisome. I don't know, y'all.
Well, I do. I have to say, I do agree with him on that. The video was about to end anyway, but yeah, I definitely agree with him on that. And you know what would really impress me, because I didn't notice about him. I never heard of this kid, but I guess he's really popular on social media, whatever. And like he said, he lives in New York, and he was talking about his privileges and things of that nature. But I have to agree with him that I like the idea that he's a Gen Zer who has educated himself on what had happened in the history of queer people and queer culture, because he has a lot of older gay men who have informed him. It reminds me a lot of myself when I was coming up, where it was like I got informed on the history of queer culture because I was around a lot of older gay men who taught me a lot of our history. And I feel like there's a lot of people, and I don't know if they get a blank statement on this, but who don't get a lot of the history of understanding what had happened with us and where we're coming from. So yeah, I do think that you shouldn't be shaming people with, oh, PrEP bloat, and making that a thing, and then people get afraid, especially if you're body conscious. And yes, we do. There's I think I don't know if straight men deal with it. I can't speak on them. But with the homosexuals, I can speak on the fact that, yeah, we all have body dysmorphia. We all have body issues. A lot of us are out here taking Ozempic or whatever type of drug to lose that extra amount of fat, because look, summer's right around the corner. A lot of the girls are gonna be going out to Fire Island, and that body got to be snatched. Look, I told you, I've been working hard on this body, and I'm trying to do it the natural way. I don't want to resort to drugs and stuff, because I always feel like that's a way of cheating. I mean, like, but look, if it comes down to the days of me wanting to get a little Botox, whatever the case is, I ain't going to turn that down. But when it comes to the other drugs, I don't want to be taking steroids. I don't want to be taking these other things, because I want to feel confident that the what I did with my body, I worked on that from hard work at the gym and diet and exercise and that sort of thing. Look, I'm at a point where I'm confident enough that I can walk around wearing crop tops. I wore one yesterday. when I was in the city. After I went to see that Michael concert, I mean that Michael movie. Well, that's literally what it was. The Michael Jackson movie was outside of my little crop top because it was 65 degrees outside. And even like with me, it's like even if it's slightly chilly out, I'm always hot, which I hate. So it's like if I'm wearing something, I'm always having this fear of like if I put a hoodie on or a jacket, or whatever, I'm gonna start sweating, and then they got the sweat spots, and it's embarrassing. That's why a lot of times I don't be wanting to wear brighter colors because I'm always feeling like I'm gonna start perspiring, and then I'm gonna look gross and stuff. So I hate the fact that I sweat a lot. But nevertheless, we need more young people like him to come out and speak on behalf of the community and talk about, yeah, this is not something that's cute and y'all should be making fun of or even making it a thing where you're talking about somebody's body type or the fact that you're bloating, whatever the case is, because you already know there's a lot of eating disorders, a lot of body issues that a lot of gay men have because society always tells us that we have to look a certain way. So you can sit out here and defend mother without having to go there and body shame someone because they said something about your favorite artist that you don't like. We can all have constructive criticism about things. And my constructive criticism is Charlie is dead ass wrong for sitting up out here and saying that the dance floor is dead when it's not. Maybe you're creatively stifled because you feel like you can't follow up Brat with anything remotely creative or anything that's going to outdo Brat. So you need to pivot into a different genre of music. But I guarantee you, when she do that rock record, she will be incorporating a lot of those electronic elements. Ain't gonna be no pure damn rock record. She ain't going full Courtney Love on y'all. Because if she does, the fans will be looking at her like she lost her damn mind. She gonna go more Slater with that record than what she's doing than a pure rock record. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story on what uh this whole John Summit, Charlie XCX debacle? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.